It's Talk Point again on Lagos Television. My name is Omololu Rosonwo. Today on Talk Point, we shall be looking at the 3 years of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On May 29, 2023, the president changed the dynamics of governance in Nigeria with the election of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming on board as the president of Nigeria. And of course, on that fateful day, so many things changed. After taking the reins of power, some things changed. And that major thing that he announced was the removal of fuel subsidy. And the removal of that fuel subsidy altered so many things in Nigeria and also the standard of living. That's what we'll be looking at today. And I have a guest in the studio. His name is Lekan Sote. He is a media practitioner. He is also an entrepreneur and also a columnist. Mr. Lekan Sote, nice to have you on Talk Point.
Good afternoon. How are you today? Nice
Yes, you need to speak up a little, so that they can hear you.
Okay.
Yes. From that intro, you talked. I spoke about the 3 years of the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But one thing that stood him out, which other presidential candidates also said, was that they were going to remove this fuel subsidy, and that actually jolted so many people, created a ripple effect on the economy, and one way or the other. Now, Nigerians are trying to find the balance. What is your own take on this, and how far has it been?
Well, just as you have noted, all the major presidential candidates told us that they would remove subsidy. Why? Because it was taking a lot from the revenue of government. And therefore, government could not do a lot of infrastructure and the social services that they are supposed to provide for the people. And the evidence of removal is the increase in, shall we say, remittance to both the federal government as well as the state government. I'm sure you keep hearing them, the governor saying, oh, we are getting more money now, we are getting more. It is because of the removal of the fuel subsidy, which is okay. So government can move the way it should have been moving. You hardly hear anyone saying that salaries of state civil servants are not being paid. As a matter of fact, I was watching a video of the governor of Kwara State. I think he went to visit the president over the Salah period.
Yes,
and
I think I saw that video too.
He was saying that we are happy with what has happened. We have more money, that we even want to propose to the president that, look, let's raise minimum salary to 100 naira.
100,000, yes, I saw that video too.
You know, though I understand that labor union is even saying that is not even.
I think the labor even want more.
Something higher, yes. You know, so that just tells you, that is evidence that government has more money, even though I think the size of government should be reduced. Now, it does have the effect is that the money that will have gone into subsidy has now been paid to government. Now, it then means that with the removal of fuel subsidy, it means we are going to be paying more. It's like some form of taxation to the people, if you like. Well, also the removal of subsidy from foreign exchange also, because what has happened is essentially removal of subsidy. Again, you know the exchange rate now,
yes,
compared to even electricity. You know, they've removed, not fully, but substantial amount of subsidy from electricity has been removed. That is why you start, people like us, they put us in Bande. I'm paying about 5 or 6 times what I used to pay now. You know.
But do you get electricity?
No, sometimes I don't get it for 2-3 days.
So
And they tell me it's 22 hours per day guaranteed.
So why is there a gap if they're saying you're supposed to have?
Well, let me put it this way: the former minister of power is an accountant, so he's looking at this thing from the prism of accounts, and that's not the way it is. The minister of power ought to be, because we're in a crisis situation in electricity delivery in Nigeria. Therefore, you do not need to have an accountant. You need somebody who understands that area, who is an expert in that area, to take charge and work. But he's analyzing, he's looking at the figures and saying maybe if we paid, you remember about 2 months ago, the president paid debts owed to gas supplies.
Yes.
That's an accountant's solution. That is not the engineering solution that we are talking about. So each time the former minister talks, the impression I get is that he doesn't fully understand what is going on. And I don't blame him because he's an accountant. Okay? I've had the same experience before. I worked in a highly technical area as a general manager, and I'm an accountant. And it took me time to understand the technology, the science of where I found myself. So I can relate to the limitation of the minister. I had that limitation. I had to learn. It took me about 3-4 years to fully grasp where I was, what I needed to do before. And then he has spent 4 years. It's gone away now.
Now, okay, yeah, it's gone away now. We're still in that situation.
After the removal of these subsidies, at least these 3 subsidies, cost of living goes high, and it spirals, and it has not abated. Especially, some people think the president. I was reading his speech, and I was just laughing to myself that, look, that you are giving students loans,
yes,
which they will repay, that you are building roads, 2,700 meters. That's not the issue. The point is this: are you empowering people? You understand? Now, industry is almost gone. And I can speak to that because you're in that industry. Yes, so I know that it's not as many. So what are we have 2 factories. I keep saying that on air. 2 factories sitting idle. Nobody in Ogun State has come to ask us, what is your problem? What do you think you want? What should you be doing now? Why is 2 factories, all the machines are sitting down there? Nothing is working. And nobody even comes to say, you used to pay tax, even if we don't pay company tax. Of course, we pay company tax. Somebody should be saying, the revenue we are getting from this place, we don't get it anymore. So let's go and find out what is going on, and then help us to. Nobody comes. Okay. So my worry is that the fiscal and macroeconomic policies of the government are not addressing the issues because we need to thank God for Dangote. Now we don't have to import as much as of petroleum products that we used to import. How about other things, strategic consumer goods, foods, electronics, everything, almost everything in this studio now is imported. Why can't we begin to manufacture some of them here? I remember in those days, Ibadan, you will have Sanyo, you will have Exide battery, Berek battery, Volkswagen something, Peugeot.
They're all gone.
Yeah, so why can't we but if we take electricity as a priority, I like to think that it will, go around and help a revival of the industry. I'm sorry, I'm not too impressed with the Minister of Industry. I listen to her, I don't hear somebody who understands the issues and knows what to do. Again, maybe being a lawyer, she's just trying to learn the ropes to understand the thing. And before you know, 4 years is gone, and then we will have wasted time. So it has to be somebody who understands the industry, how industry works. That's the kind of person you should put there to run. Look at the aviation industry. You put a lawyer there. The aviation industry in Nigeria has stabilized. So you could put Keyamo there. He would do what anybody who is ready to work would do a good job. Because that industry has stabilized. Since I would,
the standards that must be met.
Akintola in 1958 or 57 became the first minister of aviation. It was one that established Nigeria Airways. The thing has grown and stabilized. So you could put almost anybody there, anybody with common sense to run, because The experts, the good people are all over the place, and it's already running.
But political will also has some role to play, because if somebody started something and you are not building on it, just like KMO is taking advantage of and is getting the accolades, and Nigeria is growing. Yes, because and there are certain ICAO standards that must be met to ensure that certain things are put in place.
Thank God that KMO wants to do a good job. Now, if you want to do a good job as Minister of Power, if you want to do a good job as Minister of Industries, and you don't understand the dynamics of those industries, you will fail. Good intention is not good enough. You have to have the expertise in those areas for now. Do you understand? Because we are in an emergency situation in those areas. It has to be somebody who understands the issues, who thinks on his feet, not somebody who will now be listening to PAMSEC, who will listen to so-called experts who are thinking of how to maneuver. So that is the situation we find ourselves here. The president needs to really sit down and get the right personnel for those strategic industries. Finance, budget planning, industry, power, oil, agriculture. Those are strategic areas. For example, I don't even know if we have a minister for steel industries.
I've not heard that in a while.
We have mineral resources.
I remember we were saying something before we came on air.
Yeah, think about Ajay Okuta there. They keep telling us it's 98%. Listen, imagine if I operated in textile industry, if weaving machine is manufactured in Nigeria, if printing machine, we can, in our factory we can print up to 8 colors. If printing machine can be manufactured in Nigeria, if dyeing machine can be manufactured in there, if stent, all those machines can be, do you know how much impact that would make on our economy? Spare parts are all manufactured in Nigeria. Do you know, anytime, if by the time you go to Alaba and they say they don't have it, you are stuck. You will now be calling somebody in England, can you help me get this clinical spare parts? Meanwhile, your factory has stopped.
Well, you cannot pay salaries because
you won't be able to work. I did something. I needed a spare parts sometime, and I rushed down to Lagos, and I needed it. They said, okay, go and bring it. I bring it. Then they flew that thing. There was no internet at that time, so they flew the thing to England. Oh, it's going to cost you. I ran about, go and look for dollars. I will look for dollars. God brought physical dollar to them. Meantime, your work has stopped. Because it was now going to a week or so, I said, let the staff go home in the meantime. No problem. They went home. When we got the spare parts, we fixed the machine. Go and call them. They say, Shebi, you want to take care of machine and leave us. We're not ready to work again. No. Can you see, that has created a labor problem.
Yes, that was then.
Yes.
Yeah, because, but now, the dynamics have changed. Now you have ready technology. Yeah. You have some people that are ready to sell technology to you so that you can improve. Now, you mentioned something about governments being proactive, making sure that industries work so that they can get IGR. Yeah. Now, in situations like this, what are you proposing? Because that's also very key. Taking that power sector, what do you want the president to do in this area?
Well, power sector, I have some issues with the structure of the power sector. You have the GENCOs, you have the National Grid, and you have the DISCOs in silos. They are operating independent of each other. I would have thought that, let us say Ikeja Electric, which is a DISCO, should have its own transmission line, should have its own GENCO, all integrated. It will be one company. It will not be that somebody is waiting.
Relying on one person to get.
But if everything, all your component parts, I used to run a factory from weaving to processing, to fold it. So I get my raw materials from a company that sells yarn. From that point, I do my drawing, sizing, warping, everything, weaving, bleaching, dyeing, printing, folding, selling. It's a complete, but in some places, you could have weaving machines separate. You could have dyeing machines separate. But everything should be integrated. That is the idea I'm saying, that if you really, that's one thing. The structure of the industry, I believe, is wrong. The way it is.
Okay, but yes, I want us to touch one issue, and that has to do with security. That has a ripple effect, this time around negative, if it is not addressed properly on the economy. And we see kidnappings here and there, we see terrorism coming up, we see people, banditry taking effect without... How can we address these issues? Because they are also very germane to national development.
I was with a state governor about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and while we were having discussions in the north, there were some things that he said, and I thought to myself, I hope these people are talking to the people at Abuja, and I hope they are listening. Number one, he says, I don't mind state police. Contrary to our belief in the South that northern governors do not want state police. He says, I do not mind state police. So why don't we just go ahead and do it? What's holding us? That's number one. So we need to have state police as at now. Okay. In the Southwest, you have Amotekun. They are not armed. What is the point? Are they Boy Scouts? Do you understand? So when somebody now went to Orire local government, do you understand? And kidnaps a school principal, teachers, even slaughter a teacher.
Garrison.
And those children are still sleeping under the, it's raining now. Children are sleeping in the forest on the floor, soggy floor. Do you understand? Now, so that is number one. We have to have state police. Then the governor said something that really impressed me. He says, do you know that I think that these terrorists belong to those communities? What does he do? Each community, let us say Mowe community, do you understand? You have a CDA, good. Your CDA, bring your young men to come out and be like volunteer. Now, their job, you give them some small arms, but I think they should really be armed properly. But you give them, if any, terrorist strikes, your job is to show up, but don't engage them. But quickly alert the army, the police. So they are the eyes of the police and the army in those communities.
Let me take you up on this. Don't you think that the porosity of our borders are the things that are affecting them in some places in the north, and it's creeping to the south too, and also because that's one issue.
I encourage you to read my column in the Punch on Wednesday. I'm suggesting that maybe it's time for us to revive ECOMOG, which was used to deal with the situation in Sierra Leone and Liberia, which we did in the 1980s and 1990s. Yes. If we revive ECOMOG, all the 15 states of West Africa come together again, the way we did with the ECOMOG. I like to think that we are going to have a sub-region, a region-wide security system, so that terrorists escaping from Nigeria. See, we have multinational joint security something between Nigeria, Chad, and but that's not enough. Do you understand? So we need. I'm suggesting that we need to revive the ECOMOG this time to help, because in any case, ECOWAS, one of the protocols of ECOWAS is, or one of the requirements, or one of the jobs of ECOWAS is national the security
integration,
of the
integrated security system.
Yes. So why not, take advantage of that? The president just needs to, and then Burkina Faso, Niger Republic, and Mali that have left to join, to start Association of Sahel states, or what they call themselves. That axis is where a lot of the foreign, or what you call alien bandies are coming, terrorists are coming from. We need to reintegrate them and then work as a team. Those people are in the belt that runs into South Sudan, they run into Somalia, and they run into the Middle East, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, all those areas where there is tension. That it's on that latitude to the middle. So if we bring them in and negotiate with them, work with them, I like to think, because they will now have no place to run to. Do you understand? If they are encircled within the ECOWAS area by ECOMOG agreement, if you move from, once they see you run to another country, that one will repel you.
Yes.
So that's what I'm thinking. I think I'm concluding.
Yes, you're concluding, but before I let you go, we're almost rounding up. But before I let you go, food security, that's also something that can be linked to insecurity. We can create more problem of food shortage in Nigeria if not tackled, because sometimes you see that they'll say there's so much food, sometimes they will say, oh, it has gone. Is it seasonal, or is it that there are issues that ought to be tackled?
First, you have to continue to grow. Even if you have reserves, you have to still continue to keep growing food every year so that you have to replenish. So we need to have security in the farms. Otherwise, you will keep importing tomatoes from Cameroon. You will keep importing cows from Niger Republic. You will keep importing beans from Mali. Do you understand? So you need to secure the farmlands. If you travel around the north, you will see that they are farmers, essentially. They are farmers, essentially, most of them. Everywhere you go to, is farm. Date farm, sorghum. So let there be security in those areas. That's number one. The number two thing is that, well, with those silos, we need to increase the capacity of the silos, okay? And because we also need to have more agro-allied companies that can turn our raw materials into finished goods. Because if you produce cocoa, let us say, and you send it to Switzerland, apart from the fact that you are going to pay higher, the time for it to go and come back as chocolate, I don't know how long that would take. So that is, don't forget the classic economic definition of economics is rational allocation of scarce resources. It gets even more scarce when you have to export raw materials to some foreign country, and then there's a lag. So we need to quickly arrest that so that food production. Then we also need to be able to export some cash crops, actually, apart from like cotton, apart from using them locally. We need to be able to produce enough, because other people need those things. Listen, 13 states in Nigeria can produce wheat. Why don't we produce it in commercial quantity and sell to West Africa, and sell to Sudan, send to South Sudan, sell it to Cameroon, as far as Tanzania? Why can't we do that?
Okay, I'm afraid time is no longer on our side. I would have loved us to continue, but I want to believe that there will still be opportunity for you to come on board so that we can further discuss on issues that borders on national development and that which touches the common Nigerian. And I want to thank you so much, Lekan Sote, for being part of Talk Point.
Thank you for having me.
On that note, we have come to the end of Talk Point. 767 and 112 are still the lines always call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble. Ensure that you contribute your own quota to the development of Nigeria and indeed Lagos State. I am Omodolu Rosanwo. See you some other time.